Good morning, Flosstube. My name is Laura, and I'd like to welcome you to Stitching by the Shore, my channel all about cross stitch with a little bit of paper crafting thrown in too. If you are new, I'd like to say welcome. Thank you so much for pressing play. I hope you like what you see, and I would love to know more about you, what you like to stitch, and if somebody sent you my way, I would love to know that too. So thank you. And if you're a returning stitching friend, you know how much I appreciate you being here, and thank you just doesn't seem enough sometimes. I enjoy the fact that I can talk stitching and share it with you. I love the fact that we've created a kind of a community and some friendships, and it brings us all closer, even though we are all in different parts of the country, the world. We all share this love of cross stitch, and it's more than just a hobby. Do you know what I mean? So thank you so much for being here. Alrighty, so I have 2 full finishes, I have 2 stitched finishes, and I have a new start. Plus I have kind of, all the different other pieces that I tried to bring in as well to do some stitching. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to start with my 2 full finishes. I'm going to talk about them together because they are a 2-piece kind of collection. So that gives it away. They're scrapbook pages. If you are new to my channel, I like to, when I fully finish, it's not the only way I fully finish, but I'd say maybe 70%. I don't even know. I'd have to, when the year is done and I've counted my finishes, full finishes, then I'd have a better percentage. I do like to do little ornamenty things, but a high percentage of my projects, if they fit in the scrapbook, will be scrapbooked. And I just find it's great for storage. It's great for me to be able to flip through and think about these projects. And legacy-wise, down the road, it is just, for me, what I feel like would be easier leaving these projects type of thing. So that's why I choose to do it. If you're curious about it, I do have a playlist. And if you go to my channel and you look under playlist, I think it's Scrapbooking Your Stitches or something along those lines. And I have several videos. The first few talk about different supplies that I've used. I have videos that we finished together. Some it's just straight stitching. Some I'm combining pictures with my stitching. So it's kind of even more of a scrapbook. A little bit of everything. All of that is mixed in to the one scrapbook though. So that's why I keep it all together. And then the very last video, during Flossmas last December, I did a flip through of the 3 scrapbooks I have going, the 3 different sizes. And so you got a chance as of then to see all of my scrapbooked finishes. And I kind of go through and talk about a little bit what I did with them or the project or so on and so forth. So that one, if you kind of would like to see what a finished project would look like, now that's just my style of scrapbooking. If you want, there are more kind of junk journal sort of scrapbooking ideas, which are so cool and so neat. I happen to just not be very good at that whole like free flow sort of. I like to plan everything and so on and so forth. And I'm kind of meticulous sometimes in matching the colors and so on and so forth. So my styles are a little bit different than some of the other, say, scrapbooks or junk journals or whatever you want to call them. Plus for me, because of my style, I can scrapbook a little teeny tiny one, or I can scrapbook a 12 by 12 Plum Street samplers kind of thing, or whatever you want to say. So I feel like, my style kind of lends itself to a bunch of different things. But anyway, that's that. So that resource is there if you're interested. Okay, so let me show you my 2 pieces. I'm going to show you them together because, like I said, they are a collection. These are 2 floral patterns that were designed by Cressetta Gogo. There is a 3rd in the series, but I made the conscious decision to just do the 2. I thought it'd be nice because in the scrapbook, they'll go side to side like this. And to be honest with you, I love them, but I was tired of the border. They're the same border. It's a kind of a lacy, it's beautiful, and I love it. But I don't want to stitch it a 3rd time, to be perfectly honest with you. I stitched the daisies first, but I didn't fully finish it until I stitched the poppies because I knew I was doing them both and I wanted them finished in the same exact way. This is on a slightly different color neutral than this one, but they're close enough that I don't think it really matters. it's not like they're touching or whatever, and you can really tell. And you have the different colors of the pieces, so it kind of spreads it out. So just real quick, this one I played around with so many things. Lace washi tape because I wanted to play off the lace borders, scalloped edges I was creating. There's different things, and I ended up going pretty simple because I just liked that layered look. And this way you kind of have your eye going to the two different flowers anyway, types of flowers. So it made sense to kind of keep it simple. So let's put this one down for a minute here. They both have the same finishing cardstocks. I finished this with 3 pieces of cardstock. That's it. Oh, and some interfacing behind my stitching. But that's the extent of the cost of the finish. This base one is craft cardstock, which I love. Craft cardstock goes with so many colors, especially good hunter green. And I wanted to play off the base. I wanted it to play off the neutral colored fabric. So that's what I went with that. The one closest, the lighter green here, that's garden green from Stamping Up. I'm pretty sure though that that's a retired color, which is really disappointing because to look at it, you wouldn't, do I have any pieces close to me? No. But to look at it, you wouldn't necessarily say, oh, that goes with a lot of things. But you'd be surprised because I used it for years in my paper crafting, and it really came in handy. So I was kind of sad. I'm pretty sure they've retired that color, but I haven't looked at Stamping Up in a while, so I don't know. And then this darker green here, and again, you can get hunter greens from lots of different places. One of mine that I really like is Pine Feather, and that is from Paper Tray Ink. Now, the size here matches the size of my scrapbook. So we have 8.5 inches this direction and 6 plus 2 little tiny notches on my, I have a guillotine cutter. So it's slightly over 6 inches that way. The scrapbook's probably a 9x7 if I was to measure the outside part of it. And I get the page protectors. I measure what's going to fit inside the page protector, and that's how I figure out the size of my base piece. So this was slightly bigger than the 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock. So I did need 2 pieces of craft, and I needed 2 pieces of Pine Feather, but only 1 piece of Garden Green because it was small enough that it fit just the 1 piece. So to do these 2 pages and fully finish them, it took me 5 pieces of cardstock. I thought that was pretty good, actually. I have the cardstock and I like to use it for paper crafting, so it's not like I'm trying not to use it, or use as little as possible. But, it's kind of nice to be able to maximize your usage. And then now I have some extra hunter green and extra craft that I'll use for other things, kind of thing. So these will go side by side in the scrapbook. And I wanted to show you, I did bring this sized one. So this is the one here. These, I get my scrapbooks from scrapbook.com. It is their brand, I believe. So, and the page protectors are also their brand. Basically, when I go to the page that has the scrapbooks, they do have a link to matching page protectors. So that's what I do use. So for example, let me show you if you're new. Here we go. See? So these pages will be side by side. Now this one piece, of course, because it's the long way, I did have to put it in there that way, but that happens. The same thing with the voting one. But then, for example, these 2, this is an example of how my flowers will sit side by side. And they'll each have their own page protector. The page protectors are acid-free because these are made for pictures and so on and so forth. So you do have that protection. So I don't really worry about, in my mind, the long-term effect of the scrapbooks or the page protector, them being in the page protector. I think they'll be fine. I mean, honestly, I'm not exactly sure what the long-term longevity would be of undone stitches in a box thrown in an attic somewhere at some point down the road. So I figure they have a better shot of staying in good shape this way. You can see here, this one is pretty much just about full. So I will put these 2 in, and then I think there's 2 pages. Like for example, this one. I don't have anything on this side yet. So there's a couple of pages where I still have room to put something in, but then this one is done. And I did, let me see if I do 1, 2, 3, that's 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's about 11 to 12 pages in here. So, except for something like this where I actually was able to do 2 stitches on there. If you do back to back, that would be about like, say 22 to 24, since I have that double one, 25. I'll have 25 pieces, for example, in this scrapbook. And I think that's pretty good in one little condensed area. So it's time for me to buy another one of these small sizes. At the moment, I have the scrapbooks done kind of like, okay, flowers are spring, then we went to like summer stuff, and then we end up with the fall stuff, so on and so forth. At some point, if I have, for example, like a lot of flower finishes, maybe I'll have a book on flowers. If I had a lot of holiday stitches, then I'd have a book on holidays, so on and so forth, and kind of do it like that. So that's what that looks like. And like I said, if you're interested in the flip through, that's there for you. And at some point, I don't know what I'll do when I do more finishes because I'll have to either pull them out and show you them in a sort of a flip through or kind of repeat some. We'll see. But that's for a problem for a future Laura. So yay, 2 full finishes. So I am attempting to do 55 full finishes for my 55th year. I turned 55 this year, so sometime within 2024. Let me just take a quick sip of it's green tea this morning. I've messed up my video a couple times, so I've talked more than what you see here. With these finishes, I'm probably at about 21 or 22. I forgot to bring that book with me. So, okay, we're not at the 6-month mark yet, right? We have the end of this month, but I don't foresee a ton more full finishes this month. So I'm a little behind, so to speak, if I'm thinking about, okay, this is the halfway mark and say I have 23 full finishes. But honestly, the 55 is just kind of like a if I get it, great kind of number, as opposed to I'm going to stress myself out to get that. I mean, if I end up with 42 full finishes in the course of this year, I think that's pretty darn good, to be honest with you, and probably more than I would have done if I wasn't focusing on, say, that 55 number. I do have enough projects to do 55. I did before I even started this year, and then, of course, I started and finished some stuff, or finished other things that were previously started. So it's not a matter of not having enough projects. It's just a matter of some of them are parts of collections and series, so I want to get all of those finished. Or sometimes I'm just not feeling the creative juices flowing and figuring out what I want to do. There are several that I'd like to either frame, or I was talking about it on a Zoom this weekend. Rather than framing some of the pieces, learning how to just pin them on boards and make them as leaners. Kind of the idea of making a canvas out of them. Of course, the canvas itself is a specific size, but if I wanted to make foam core or whatever, like the canvas, and then just finish them that way, that's a potential option, but I don't know how to do all of that yet. So at some point I have to figure out how to do that. And some of the smaller pieces, I just need to find frames. Some of my stuff is sizes that probably I could find. Some of it I might have to have the frame kind of made a specific size. So there are some other types of finishes, but it's just a matter of whether or not it gets done this year. If it gets done, great. If it doesn't, there's always next year. All right, so that is my 2 full finishes, and so I am super excited about that. And I'm gonna actually just tuck them inside the book a little bit so that they don't get hurt at all. Alrighty, next, let's start with one of my full stitching finishes, I should say. So not finished. I have a very vague germ of an idea how to finish this one. I don't know if I'll be able to pull it off though. So that's not fully finished yet for that reason. Talk to Me Goose by Dirty Annie's. And I've loved this. I've talked about my history with the Top Gun movies, so on and so forth. So there was a reason why I was going to stitch this one. And I got it finished. So Friday night, Mo and I decided we were going to do a date night in the house date night. We didn't go, well, we went out to get some takeout food. That was it. We decided we weren't going to cook. We'd do takeout food and then watch a movie. And purposely because the Hitman movie was released to Netflix, I think last Thursday or Friday. I don't remember when it was. So it's like, perfect. We'll watch that Friday night. It's been getting rave reviews, so on and so forth. Glenn Powell, I kind of messed up saying that in the last time I filmed this. Glenn Powell is the lead actor in the movie, and he played one of the jet fighter pilots in Top Gun Maverick. So I said, well, that's perfect. So I can stitch this, and he's in this new movie, yada, yada, yada. Well, I loved the stitch. Neither Mo nor I really loved the movie, I have to say. And it was so hyped up. Best movie of the year. I'd be so curious if you loved it. I don't want to give away spoilers. I just, by halfway through, I kind of didn't like her. By the end, I kind of didn't like him. I didn't like the ending. I don't know. I just kind of was disappointed in the direction. It was kind of cool, and it's based loosely, right, on the premise of a real person. So I was kind of interested. Well, I was interested to know that. I didn't know that going in. I really didn't know much about it going in. So I'd be curious. We'll have to chat if what you thought about it. But anyway, I loved the stitch, and I had to fill in this entire side of the sunglasses. So how perfect when you're watching a movie, right? Because I'm using, what am I using here? This is what I have left of it. Oh, I just pulled the thread on one of my next projects. Planetarium from Roxy Floss. So this is what I have left of that skein from here. And this is an 18 count sensitive Sylvie from Those Missing Stitches. I wanted something that was like a blue sky sort of thing. And look at this fabric. I love this fabric. You know me in blues, but I love it. And so I thought that this floss was kind of a perfect use for this. So this is fully finished. Yay! And like I said, I have a loose idea for the scrapbook for this. I don't know if I can pull it off. It'd be really kind of cool if I can, but I'm not saying anything because I don't know if I can do it. So we'll see. You'll just have to, keep checking back. Let me see. I'm going to put these actually over here so I can line them up. Okay, next. The next finish is way down. You'll have to wait a little bit for that. So I mix in my finishes, my starts, my whips, my works in process. I don't know. You know what I'm saying. Progress. That's the word I was looking for. Works in progress. Everything just gets mixed in. So what we see is what we see. And it's pretty much just, I don't even have a particular order when I get them piled up and ready to go. So this is Life Happens, and this is from, I want to make sure it's Georgia Girl Stitching Designs. Georgia Girl Stitching. Megan has a Flosstube as well if you're interested in watching her. And she's very fun to watch. I'm getting there. This is, I'd say, a summer finish, but I have, it's, again, there's more there than you realize. Now, I did kind of change some of the colors up just a tad, kind of to fit the fabric that I ended up choosing. So this is 18 count Darling David, also from Those Missing Stitches. It is, as you know, what I consider a fabulous neutral for me. And it just, I mean, this color scheme is completely different than the Librarian's House sampler. And they both, in my opinion, look fantastic on it. So I really love it. I feel like any color pretty much looks great on it. Now, this was charted in Color and Cotton, Classic Colorworks, and Gentle Art. But Megan also gives a DMC alternative. Now, I used DMC for 2 of the colors. I used DMC for this color and for this color. But I decided I wanted to use kind of, now that I've bought a few of the kind of variegated flosses, I might as well use them, right? And what did I do with the label? Because I didn't write it on my notes. See, this is what happens when I don't. And I have notes here. I always write notes. Well, you know what? I know I have it listed somewhere in the description box. So if you look there, it'll tell you which one. I'm surprised that the label's not there. I think it's a Roxy Floss. I'm not 100% sure. So as you can see, I'm doing everything but these to make sure I have enough floss, which I think I will. I'll be totally fine. I originally was going to do just the borders and not even do these until I had those done to make sure I had enough floss then. But in order to do this part, I kind of did this one. Now, I totally messed up. I was watching something on BritBox that I remember. And I kind of, and you're not gonna be able to see too closely here on this because it's, but the way Megan's got them charted, I messed up and I closed one of the different lines. And then I said, oh, well, rather than pulling it out, especially because it's variegated floss, I'll just close up the other, and I added an extra stitch in there. So there's 3 extra stitches in my design over Megan's. And then I immediately said, well, I better do the other one so that I don't forget that I did it, because then I don't want them looking different. So I have one more word, and then I have just a little bit more of the green. So hopefully by the end of the summer. This one was started on St. Patrick's Day. I thought that was appropriate. And I'm looking forward to seeing the finish on it. That'll be scrapbooked, I think. I mean, I could kind of make it into a leaner or frame it or something or other, but I'm not sure then where I'd put it because I only have so much space up here. Alrighty, next I need to show you a digital picture because it is a digital piece. Although funnily enough, I am stitching it. I made a working copy. I did not try to put this in Pattern Keeper because I didn't have it when I started it. And it's not too bad this way. So at the moment, it's still a working copy, which means I have no idea my percentages. So this is the US Quaker flag, and it is charted by Vivsters. Now, in the end of January, there was a stitch along started for this. It's hashtag 2024 Quaker flag Sal. And Vivsters ended up creating flags for, I think, over 50 countries. I think there's some county flags if people asked for them. People would just request something, she would find it, you know, figure out how to chart it, and then she'd chart it. This one was originally more of a square, and after the other ones looked so fabulous as rectangles, I asked her would she extend it, and she said no problem, and she extended it. So she did say anybody who would, if in a few years ago you bought it, but you bought it as a square, I think she's happy to send you the other version, the rectangular version. So it's big, I'm not gonna lie. This is 400 and something this direction. So be prepared. And I have, now this would be kind of like boring, what people would consider boring stitching, but necessary, right? I did borders of all of these because I figure once that's done, then I can pick and choose as I want. The blue and white ones are all full coverage, and then the white and red are not. So, you know, I mean, I'll be able to pick and choose what I want. This is the full, it's like 210 or so. So that's the full height. And I'm pretty sure it's going to take most of the width. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it is. This is 18 count Brave Boromir. A third one, I didn't even realize, well, I should see because I have them in my notes here from those missing stitches. So these are the 3 from Lynn that I have this week. I love those missing stitches. She has fantastic fabrics. She does a great job dyeing. And you kind of have to keep watch because she rotates them in and out quarterly. I think it's quarterly. I think Darling David is available all year. So you just kind of pay attention and see what she's doing. And I think each quarter she might make a few new colors. Sensitive Sylvie might have been a new color this year. I don't remember. But this I think is a awesome gray. You know, I like kind of grays on the bluish tones, kind of cooler, are my favorites. So I just absolutely love this. As you can see, border, 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 all of that kind of stuff. There is, if you do the US flag, this, I'm going to say Quaker motif. This one was not symmetrical. There was like a mistake or two in it. So you do have to be careful with this first one. And then, I don't know if there's any others along the way. Most of these are symmetrical. In fact, they probably all are. So that's good because then, yeah, they're all symmetrical. if there is a little snafu, just pay attention. Is it matching on one side versus the other? And that way it's easy enough to kind of fix it. So yeah, not super exciting, but necessary. And I think I will continue to do that unless I really feel like this one here now, all I have to do is fill in blue. So if I was say zooming or something and I didn't want to do some counting, that would be perfect for a fill in. And I might do that for a few of those and keep the fill in part for, you know, zooms or things like that. Or if I'm watching a movie or some TV show or something that I need to really, really concentrate on. So yeah, so that one is kind of neat to really see all the different flags and styles. If you watch Karen, the Stitching Owl, Karen is doing Canada, and it is phenomenal. And actually, another stitcher doing Canada is Bonnie. What's Bonnie's? I'm blanking on her. She's, I think on Instagram, she's My Stitch Diary. What is her Flosstube? If you like full coverage, Bonnie is wonderful to watch because this is the only non-full coverage piece she has, I believe. But it's really kind of cool. She her stitching that. So it's fun to see where she is and where Karen is and see how the Canadian flag is emerging. I will list her below, but I just don't remember off the top of my head what her Flosstube name is. But it'll be in the description for Flosstubers mentioned. Alrighty, moving on. So the full coverage piece that I am doing kind of 1,000 stitch rotations with, I guess is the best way to put it. You didn't see it last week. Nope, it's not that one. It's this one. But I did use it for my I Spy challenge. It has all the colors of the rainbow in it. So, I mean, it's a Dona Gelsinger, so you know how colorful Dona Gelsinger happens to be. This is the mini Sunflower Cottage, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, artwork by Dona Gelsinger. And so, yeah, there's pretty much any color you could want in there. And I got my, and that's another thing. I think I got probably about 1,100 stitches in there for the week. So that's where it is. Yay, it's coming along. This is done on an 18 count white aida, 2 strands over 1, full cross. And I started this one last year, obviously. I didn't have Pattern Keeper, so now it is all in Pattern Keeper. And for the life of me, I'm not going to remember what the percentage was. This is what happens when I don't bring all of my notes. I know Leanne from Small Town Stitches is also stitching this one. And she is also another person. She does some non-full coverage. I'm just going to write down Leanne's name. But she does some beautiful, beautiful full coverage work. I love watching her updates. I think she updates about monthly. But that's where I am. And you can see, obviously, there is some confetti, but I did make an effort to fill in some, and then I would also do some of the other colors. I do try to do some of these. There's 2 different shades of blue that there's a lot of them. And obviously, as I get down here with, say, the sunflowers and stuff, that goes away. But up here, there's a lot. So I like to do a mix-in because it gives me a chunk of color, plus it gets rid of some of that color that I don't have to stitch. I don't want to be stuck with just all of that at one point. I find it a good brain kind of break to go between the block of a color and then some confetti. I mean, obviously confetti is so much easier now with Pattern Keeper, but you know, it's still confetti. So you have to kind of really pay attention. That one will go away now. At the beginning of the year, I had modest goals on my full coverage pieces. But now with the addition of Pattern Keeper, I feel like I can certainly do more than that. Obviously, I have, I don't know, 15, 16 active full coverages. So, you know, it's not like they're all going to see 50,000 stitches this year. If they can all get, you know, at least 3,000, 4,000 or whatever, that would be kind of nice. But we'll see what happens. Again, I'm not going to worry if they don't. I was thinking about it for next year. I may designate certainly like 12 that would get monthly focuses. And in the month, they could get 3,000 to 4,000 stitches. And then kind of rotate and see. So we'll see. There might be kind of a focus of a dozen or so for the year next year. And then halfway through the year, I'll change my mind again. And, you know, that's how plans go. I decided to put some more work into my Wings of Change pattern by Silver Creek Samplers. Our stitch along hashtag with this one is Butterfly Wings Sal, if you'd like to join us. And let me show you where mine is. I did use the called for colors. I am going to use a variegated floss for the butterfly insides, but everything else is going to be, everything else is the called for DMC alternatives. And I did see this flower stitched in 2 shades of purple. It's gorgeous. So if you would like to do more purple, which I love purple, and I thought about restarting, but in the end I decided, you know what, I'm going to commit to this because the color of the floss is kind of the darker version of what the darker of this is, which is darker than the, so it all kind of flowed. So I decided to just run with the called for. This is 18 count Bell Bottom Blues from Hand Dyed by Rolanda. So it is brighter than this. I think if you wanted something that wasn't as bright a blue, but you wanted a blue, I know an 18 count Nantucket Sky by Hand Dyed by Fabrics by Stephanie would be a home run. I think it would look fantastic on that. But there's lots of shades as well. Sensitive Sylvie that I stitched, whatever the previous, Talk to Me Goose, that would be a fantastic color as well, I think. In 18 count. I don't know the other counts. But anyway, so that's where I am. I did some more of the flower, and I wanted to get in the first word because I wanted to see how that floss color looked. And then over here is where we'll have the butterfly. I think the words are going to go pretty fast. They're going to be fun to stitch. And then this, I just have to pay attention. As you can see, I originally did the darker color to see how it looks. But then now what I'm going to do probably is all of the lighter, and then it'll be easier to fill in the darker one. I think that's the route I'm going to do with that. I don't know if this will get pulled out this week. Did I do this for I Spy? I can't remember. I don't have my challenge book with me. I'm not sure. And it is, oh, whoops, there was extra floss there. Huh. It's hanging out in my butterfly bag. Yay! I have no idea if this floss goes with this project or the next one. You know what? I'm just going to put it over here. Either way, it's not a variegated, so if I lose a strand, that's okay. So yeah, so it goes back in its butterfly bag. Alrighty. So the next one, a few of you had asked me, how's this project going? Great question. And I hadn't done it for several weeks, and I've realized, okay, so we're in the middle of June. September is going to come faster than you realize, right? And this needs to be done by September. Now, granted, it's towards the end of September, but you know, it's still September and we're basically just 3 months out. And stitching always takes longer, right, than you think it does. So I said, you know, that's a very good question. I'm going to pull it out. And this is, I'm going to show it from the back because there is no, whoops, you don't want to see that one. That's my Carolyn Manning emerald. What happened to it? There we go. So this is my Aston Villa stitch that I am doing for Mo. If you don't know or are new, Mo is a huge, huge, huge Aston Villa Football Club fan for English Premier League football / US would call it soccer, you know that. And so I'm stitching this for our 25th wedding anniversary. I thought it'd be kind of fun because he loves, I mean, I hear every day, okay, the transfer window has opened this morning. This is what I heard this morning. The transfer window is now open. So now I get to hear about all the different things happening and who's coming and going from the team. Anyway, so this is what I have. This one I do find a little difficult to stitch because it is, the pattern is from, and it's several years old. In fact, I did take out the words because that was 2 logos ago. So technically this year the logo, I want to say, or whatever this is, I forget what it's called in Britain. Badge? I think it's a badge. I think this year was circular, but I think all the fans hate it. So I think it's going to change again anyway. But I went with the one that, you know, we know most of. But it's not like a cohesive, easy to read pattern. When I tried to print it, it didn't print very well. And if I just kind of blow up the thing, it gets very pixelated. It's going to be fine with this fill in of the blue, and it's fine with stitching the part of, you know, as the badge comes down. It's stitching the lion that's going to be the hardest part. So I haven't done it yet. You can see I've started with the head. I eventually would like to just kind of do the whole outline, and then I could just fill in, and life will be so much easier at that point. And then if I do the outline of this and the outline of the lion, then I'll be able to zip. I am using Sulky on this. This is a 20 count. It's 20 count slate from Fiber on a Whim. So it's going to be small. It's only going to be about this big kind of thing. But I thought it'd be kind of fun. He has a bookshelf in his office. He works remotely, so he works from home. And I think it would kind of fit. The otter stitch that I made for him is on there, and I think this one would be kind of fun too. I don't think we have great pictures. We went to go see them last summer. They came to the U.S. They are coming to the U.S. this year, but I think we'd have to travel quite a bit. We were able to see them in Maryland last summer, but I don't think, because it would be nice to have like a picture kind of thing with it. But, you know, I don't know. Unless I think I think they're going to Columbus, Ohio. Maybe? I don't remember where they're going this year. So we'd have to do a road trip. Anyway, this is what it looks like so far. So 3 different colors of Sulky, and I basically just tried to match the colors of the logo as best I could. I think I've done pretty well. And I'm doing 1 strand of Sulky on the 20 count. And I do like the coverage. I think it works out well. And I love working with the 1 strand of Sulky. I feel like the 1 strand of Sulky is the floss that I can get the longest strand of for 1 strand stitching. And I like that. I really enjoy that, because then you can just keep going for a while. So yeah, so that one has to come out more often this summer. And like I said, if I can get the outline done, then there's a lot more fill-in and it'll become a lot easier. All right, next one. This is part of I Spy, this next one, and I didn't get as much done because I kind of blew my brain a little bit. I wasn't counting right, and I just kept messing up. And let me see where it is. It's a digital piece, but it's done on, oh, there it is. It's done on a different color than I'm doing, so it's harder for me to find it. This is Dandelions by Owl Forest Embroidery. And what was my I Spy for this one? Something I think summer related. I just remember dandelions as a kid all over the yards. Both the pre-yellow dandelion part, or then we'd pick them and blow them. And of course, no adult liked that, but we did it anyway. And then when the yellow dandelions came out all summer long as well. So this is where I am. Not a huge amount done. I decided I was going to come down here. I talked about last time, I'm using just DMCs with this as opposed to the Owl Forest flosses. And I wasn't sure about this DMC conversion. Everything else I really do like. But that one I wasn't 100% sure about. So I wanted to fill in some of the colors around it. I said, well, let's do this dandelion. And the dandelion looks cool, but boy, it was a bear for me for counting. And I messed it up. I had to pull some stuff out, so on and so forth. So that took longer than I thought it would. And then I started here with this, and then I just lost steam. My brain was kind of like, I'm done counting on this project. So that's pretty much all I have done. I think next time I'm going to pull in some greens so I can do the stem and the stem here, and then inside some of this stuff, I'll do one of the greens and pull that in. And I think I want to do a bunch of that before I do this color here. There's a large centerpiece. I mean, there's not a lot of that color. So you've got the large centerpiece here, one on this side, and then just down here. Whoa, there we go. And so it's not like it's everywhere, but I want to make sure that color does kind of go with everything. As you can see, the Owl Forest is very variegated, and it's a little bit more brown than this one. So I'm reserving the right to pull that out once I get some more parts stitched around it. So we will see. Jury's out on that piece, but everything else I am enjoying. And maybe that's, well, really until I get the colors around it. Because I was going to say, well, maybe that tells you, gives me my answer. But it's not that I'm not enjoying it. I just need to make sure it all matches. So this will come out again this month because I did want to put some more I Spy time into it. I give myself a minimum of the 200 stitches. I think I just got that on that one. But I feel like it's come out for I Spy. I think I'd like to have it get a little bit more time. It hasn't gotten a lot of time in 2024. And that's why I like those challenges. Because sometimes I pick stuff that I readily stitch on, but sometimes I try to find projects that haven't seen some work. And somebody had asked me, how do I rotate? What's my rotation with so many projects? Because I have something like 80 whips. And really, part of it is some stuff I just naturally gravitate to, so that will get more work. Some that sit, it depends if they're like monthly or seasonally. Sometimes I just don't feel like stitching on them. I don't care generally what time of year it is to stitch on stuff, but sometimes I just don't feel like it. I haven't been in the mood for Christmas, but that's all right. Next month I'll kind of Christmas it up a bit. And sometimes I just use the challenge and I say, I'm going to find something that hasn't seen a lot and let's use the challenge to pull it out. So it's kind of a combination. All right, this is my second finish. I did it. So this took me 4 years. I pulled out my book that has all of my projects that I start per month, and this was started June 1st, 2020. Yes. No, it shouldn't take 4 years. But you've heard the saga. I started this, and I just, as I evolved as a stitcher, I realized that, you know, a lot of my style and aesthetic, just as I live, is simpler. And my decorating in the house is simple. Everything is just simple and clean lines and so on and so forth. So this was just too much. And so it sat for a long time because I just didn't know. I mean, I had finished, that flag is huge. So, you know, it's like, give yourself a pat on the back if you finish that. I had done a lot, and so I wasn't ready necessarily to let it go. But I gave myself permission to let parts of the stitch go. And so I ended up doing that, making it a little bit simpler and cleaner, and I just love it. Now, I did originally, I knew from the start that I wasn't going to stitch the chickens. On here, it doesn't matter that there's no chicken. I don't, especially because I left this open, I think it looks fine. Down here, what I did is I made this flower higher and I added a flower in the line here so that you wouldn't even know that there's supposed to be a chicken there. The flowers here, I took out the bunting on this side of the truck. I just felt like the flag on the side was fine. It was a little bit overkill. I did fill in these flowers. They're striped in the original, and I just wanted to have them filled in since everything else was filled in. There are little bees kind of or something floating around the whole area. I didn't do those. There's supposed to be a flag here, but that felt very crowded, so I took that out. And I'm trying to think if there was anything else. I did keep all the called for colors because I had started this back when I was just really starting the journey of learning about all things. It's DMC versus the Classic Colorworks, but it is all the DMCs. I didn't change anything there. The DMC called for here is vastly different than what the truck looks like here. In hindsight, I might have changed that, but it's fine. It looks good with everything else, so I'm okay with it. And this fabric it's a Charles Craft 18 count. I think it's navy from Garibaldis. When I first jumped into the whole hand-dyed fabrics kind of thing, I had no idea the Charles Craft versus Zweigart, all of that. And so I started with Charles Craft. And I don't know if all the Charles Craft is this thick, but this is a very thick fabric actually. So yeah, I love it on the navy actually. I think it really looks great. And it's finished. So now this will go in the scrapbook. This one, I don't know if it'll fit in the 8.5 by 11. It might have to go in the 12 by 12. I wonder if I can do 9 by 12. I do have some of those page protectors too. So anyway, yay, that is a finish. So I am thrilled. And I started to do like my 100 stitches a day, and this took so many days to do that still. So I think it was yesterday I finished it, and I was just well, 2 days ago, I said, I'm just going to do it throughout until I'm finished. And I petered out because there was so many like little things to do and changing all the colors. And I just said, Thursday morning, first thing I'm going to stitch is going to be this, and I'm going to get it finished. And I did. So I'm super excited. I'm super excited to get it finished. It was one of those projects where it needed to be done. It was time. I'm happy with the final of what I did, but I was over that project. I was done with that. So yay, that was my second stitching finish for the year. The week. I think I've had, it is low 20s for stitching finishes as well. Something like, well, it might be something like 23, because I think I have 10 more new starts, counting the start that I'm just about to show you, over finishes. But I think that's pretty good. My finishes are kind of keeping steady with that. I'm going to run out of projects that are close to a finish, though, at some point, and then you know, the finishes will slow down. I did start a full coverage. Yes, I couldn't help myself. It's Dance at Nightfall. I kept calling it Dance at Midnight, but it's actually Dance at Nightfall. It is charted by Sunflower Stitches, and the artwork is by Rose Kahn. And this is fanfic that Rose Kahn kind of did, in the sense of fan art. Not fan fiction, really, fan art. And she did this as kind of a fan art homage to Court of Thorn and Roses series. And she says that on her Instagram, so I'm not making it up, I swear. And yeah, I loved the colors. I thought it was just, you know me, I love the deep blues and purples and things like that. So I was immediately drawn to it. I'd not stitched anything from Sunflower Stitches before. And I said, oh, you know what? I'm going to give it a try. And I have about 500 stitches. There's 3 colors here, although you can tell this one is a lighter blue. There's actually 2 different shades here. Well, there's a black, and then there's the 939. So of course I start in the upper left corner all the time. And so that's why you don't have much here. But I should be able to get some good block work in and get a good start on this. So I do want to continue with this one and give it at least 1,000 stitches for a start. So this will get some more work, I think, this week. Maybe for the month of June. There's 2 more weeks in the month. Maybe I'll kind of keep this around and see what I can do as a start. There is, if you are stitching a Sunflower Stitches piece, and I haven't uploaded yet to their Facebook page. There is a Facebook page. She talks about, you know, as she brings new stuff out. She's had serious health challenges, but yay, she's at the end of it. That's the yay part, not the challenges, but there's a light, you know, that she is seeing at the end of all of this at this point. And so I think she's excited to kind of get back to more charting and so on and so forth. But there is a challenge that if you stitch at least 100 stitches on one of her projects and you put it in the Facebook page, then I don't know if there's like a free chart at the end of the month that she's giving away to people who do that. So if you are stitching a Sunflower Stitches and you do Facebook, then it might be a fun group to be on. 1, to do the challenge, and 2, just to see all the fun stuff that she starts charting and adding. And it is Pattern Keeper compatible, so I am doing it through that. And same thing, 18 count white aida, 2 strands over 1 full cross. And that's it. So that will get some more time. And oh, and I did bring, so I mentioned Leanne before, Leanne from Small Town Stitches. So she does a lot of full coverages, and she reached out and she said she found, for holding her full coverages, 2.5 gallon Ziploc bags fit the full coverages perfectly. You can see here, all I've done is pull out the black, the 939, and some of the lighter blue. I haven't pulled out any of the other colors. And that's what I do in some ways. Like when I kit up a full coverage, I start with, there's those colors a lot in the front. So I'm not pulling every DMC yet. I'll pull them as I go. I mean, you know, I have my thing here. And then when I zero out a color, it'll just go back kind of in there. But anyway, these 2.5 gallons, I got them at Walmart. I mean, they were very affordable, and it does fit my project quite nicely. So thank you, Leanne, for that suggestion. It has made a world of good, because otherwise I was kind of putting them in bags that were, you know, not big enough or whatever, and so on and so forth. And it was useful. I don't necessarily worry so much about folding the projects, so I have no problem with folding them. And as you can see, look, it's folded and it's in, and then we can just close it up if I can do so without snagging that top, because there we go. And it's all set. And there'll be plenty of room for more of the flosses and everything else. So thank you for that suggestion. That was perfect. Alrighty, next. This one is getting there. This one will be finished by the end of 2024. I'm not going to say by the end of summer. I'm giving myself the entire year. And it is Black Vintage Sampler by Owl Forest Embroidery. And this is part of my 4-piece rotation of projects that I do rotate once a month, and they get 500 stitches. And so this one got 500 stitches. And let me show you the whole thing, and then I'll show you. It's the bottom that I'm working on. But look at this full piece. You don't need to see me. I'm just trying to. There we go. There it is. Yes, this one will not fit in the scrapbook. So whether or not it gets framed, or I, like I said, kind of do some sort of pinning over foam core, kind of a canvasy thing, is an idea as well. So anyway, so that's the full piece. This is done an 18 count rainy day from Bestitch Me. And I am working on down here. And actually I can fold that over too, because I didn't do any over there. I did a lot on this ship, so you can see it is almost done. It needs a top part right here. I finished all of the water underneath these boats. I did some bubbles, and I did a few of the insides of these flowers and some leaves. So what I have left, I have to finish the ship here, and there is a fish that I do have to do. And then in the border, a lot of what I have to do, the border itself is done in the sense of it matches up, it's done complete in that sense. But you'll notice, oh, on this side, where am I going? I don't have the flowers in there. I do down here, but I have to fill in all those flowers, and then the flowers all need like little inner centers. So this isn't a one more time 500 stitches. I'm sure it's going to be a few more times. There's a little bit of back stitch that needs to be done at the end. I will do. Now there is, and I don't think I'm going to do it. Underneath, if you'll see here, you see this row of flowers right here? In between each of these, there's like a row of 4 stitches, similar to what's on the inside of the flower. But I kind of like it like that, and I don't necessarily think it needs it. It just kind of would add another busy element, and I don't know, I kind of like the border that way. So I am thinking I'm taking that out, but I'm pretty sure everything else is stitched as charted. So yay! I can't believe it's getting there. 2024 finish. I started this January 1st in 2023. So it'll be probably closer to almost a 2-year project, but not surprising considering how many projects I have. I feel like putting this in a constant rotation every month, it got some work done that has really helped it and pushed it along. And I'm excited to have that one finished. I love how it looks on the rainy day. I did use Anchor Black instead of 310, which I do like, and so I'm just happy with it, and yay, ready for a finish on that one. Okay, 2 more. This one, Summer Signs Series Summer by Twin Peak Primitives, was for I Spy, remind you of your dad or a father figure. My dad lives in Florida, so this is all kind of beachy and so on and so forth. So I thought that was perfect. And I like to stitch on this one. It's got nice blocks of color, even though there's like little elements to it. You can still kind of get into a rhythm and a groove. So this time around, I started this area here. So this will be the next row. And you can see it's kind of cool. It's got like little waves at the bottom. I am recharting the words to say, the word to say Delaware. And I'm almost sure every single letter is in the words that are here. So I think that's really helpful. But I need to get, I don't have any graph paper. I need to get some graph paper, I think, and do that charting. I was able to do the fish on this side, but now I need to stop. I'll do the bottom most likely and work my way across, and then I'll have to do the charting before I can fill everything else in. But I did just want to get that started, and then I kind of worked off this row. You can see I'm cutting it very close to the edge, but this will be scrapbooked. It'll probably go next to On the Beach from Stitcherovia. I think that would be kind of fun. They're both, this one is 18 count caramel macchiato from Fabrics by Stephanie, versus On the Beach is a different fabric, but it is kind of like a sandy sort of fabric color. So I think they'll be nice next to each other. And so I got all of, yes, I did, all of this kind of umbrella, and I got part of the little bag here. Mo wanted to practice his pickleball serves, and so I said, you know what, I'll drive you down there and I'll hang out and stitch while you're practicing, because that's been his newest thing. If he's not playing pickleball, he's practicing his serve, because that's his weak point. So yeah, good chunk of stitching done here. And then you have, once you have here, you have a small row, you know, one layer, and then a very tiny part, as you can see, of the tier left. But when I cut this, I did not give myself hefty margins. I knew it was going to be scrapbooked, so I didn't really worry about giving myself like a 3-inch margin or anything. So yeah, this one I will continue to bring out over the summer. I do really like it, and I like the chunks of color. I think, actually I was going to say, I was going to say, oh, this would be easy, but really most of it will be easy to stitch. There are a couple of errors in these bath huts. So I do have to be careful there, because I had stitched them once before, just that section for a trading card, which is why I went down this way, because I just wasn't in the headspace to do that. So at some point, it'll probably be like one of the last things I do. Knowing myself, right? I'll do all the other stuff around it, but then I'll have to come back to it. All right, and my last piece has been my monthly piece. The hashtag June Dog was one that gave me inspiration. I kind of lost my train of thought completely there. Gave me inspiration to make this one my monthly focus rather than a full coverage. I mean, this one's not full coverage, but I mean, it's big enough, right? It's Long Dog Samplers, and it's fish and ships. It's so much fun. And so rather than it being one of the, oh, you know what I did? I forgot. Oh, no, I didn't forget. I'm thinking ahead on something. I saw something, it distracted me. Sorry about that. I thought, how fun would this be to make it 100 stitches a day? And that's what I've been doing, 100 stitches a day on this piece, so that by the end of the month, it'll get a good chunk of, normally it would get 500 in the month. So this time it'll get, about 3,000. And let me show you where I am. That's where I am. Oh, this fabric is such a pretty blue. It's an 18 count. It was part of a Black Friday blue-green pack from Dyeing for Cross Stitch. I have to make sure. Sometimes I confuse To Dye For and Dyeing for Cross Stitch, but Dyeing for Cross Stitch is Kathy, and she does currently dye fabric. So To Dye For is not dyeing at the moment fabrics. She's taken the year off. And I am using Flosh. And I did get asked, I don't know if it was yesterday, I had a comment about how do I like the Flosh. I'm using it's one-stranded, and I like it. It lays pretty good. Not quite as wonky as, say, DMC white. I haven't done a lot of stitching with Sulky white, which, I mean, I like the use of Sulky, so that's another option. But the Flosh is really a good thickness, so for 18 count, the Flosh works nicely. I do have some wonky stitches just because I don't think my stitches will ever be perfect, and honestly, I don't really care. Nobody's going to be inspecting them, and if they are and you find my stitching lacking, well, that's your opinion and not mine, so it really doesn't matter in my sense of my self-worth of my projects anyway. So wonky stitches it is. I'm not going to say it's perfect, but then I'm not a perfect stitcher anyway. Like, you would look at it, and if you look at closely at my stuff, you'll find pretty much wonky stitches in any project. But that's part of the fun. We roll with it. I jumped all over, to be honest with you. because I'm doing 100 stitches a day, I kind of jump and say, oh, I want to stitch on this today. I want to stitch on that. I know I was warned with Pattern Keeper because I was able to put this in. That long dog sometimes adds a row, so I'm being a little bit careful there. I did quite a bit on this section right here and got a lot of this part done. But I know there's others in other parts, but that's the main part of it. And when I am doing the back stitch on this, the floche is, I will say, a little too thick. I did do some back stitching here with the floche, and I'm not pulling it out now, it's fine. But it's kind of thick, so I am using a white Sulky. And that's what I did over here with the little whale and his little spout. And I do like the little bit more thin look of the white Sulky for the back stitch. So that's the one suggestion. If you have back stitching something, the floche, maybe not the best option because it's thick and it's fuzzy, which is great for my stitches, but not so much for my back stitch. So you will continue to see this for a few more weeks this month as I work on it every day. And then I'm curious to see what the percentage is from, oh, I won't know the percentage because it wasn't fully in Pattern Keeper when I started the month. So I have no idea what I started at. I'll at least know the number of stitches since I count my stitches every day. But it'll be fun to see where I'm ending the month with, what percentage, and then it will go back into the once a month 500 stitches rotation. And then at some other point, maybe brought out for challenges and stuff. So that's my stitching. Woohoo! Yay! So that is everything I have for that. Plans. I would like to, let me just reach because I didn't pull them out. I have my container here with my projects that are coming up and I just picked an arbitrary day. I have no idea, but the 15th, which I think is tomorrow, I'm starting The Uniqueness of Others by Yasmin's Made with Love. I love this one. And if you recall, I am going to go with this fabric. So I'm excited to give that a go. I'm hoping the colors look good on it. If I have to make any changes, I will. But we'll see as that goes. And then the first day of summer, let me put this here, I am starting Summer Balloons, Carolyn's Balloon Summer by Jan Hicks. And that will have spring and summer started, autumn, fall are stitched, finished, and then that's the case where I'm keeping those. I'm not fully finishing them until I finish all 4, and there'll be a 4-piece collection. And I am using this fabric, which is not that much off of what she has shown. I'm using this fabric. It's a little bit deeper blue with some pink tones because that's what I used for winter. And so summer and winter have the same fabric, and spring and autumn have the same fabric. So I thought that'd be kind of cool. It's kind of a, it kind of ties the connection in of the 4 pieces and making it kind of a collection in the scrapbook. So yeah, I'm looking at, like, for example, I'm looking at a couple of these colors, and I'll just pull them out with the DMCs, and we'll see once they get in what they look like, especially maybe this one. But that might be within other pieces, so I might be okay. But if I have to do a little bit of adjusting for color, that's no problem. I think this fabric is really fun. Oh, look at that. On that side, look at this. I'm going to have to figure out placement because look at one side is much yellower than the other. And then over here, we have kind of more pinky. Oh, yeah. Pink and some greens. I'm going to have to really think about this. All right. So there'll be some playing around there with that. And so yeah, so that's really fun. I'm looking forward to those starts. I don't know if I'm going to finish this week. I need to take a break from Blue Dreams because it's just a lot of little pieces. It'll get done this summer, but I need a break from that. And I don't think Life Happens is close enough to a finish. So we'll see. Alrighty, so those 2 starts. Looking ahead, July, Christmas in July, I'd like to pull out my Christmas pieces. My 2 oldest ones are Kringles and Christmas Town. And I don't know, I think I might do a focus on Christmas Town from Stitchovia. as the piece that I might really focus on. Kringles, again, part of it's the color scheme. I'm going to finish it. I mean, I'm too invested in it at this point. There's the idea of me wanting to change one of the rooms, which, I mean, I should just stitch all of it and have that one room left and then make the decision. But there's just a lot that keeps holding me back on that one. I'll pull it out, I think, in July, but I think I'll focus on Christmas Town. Both of those are 2020 starts. So, and then I would like to try, I'm not going down this whole rabbit hole. I just want to do some ornaments as diamond painted ornaments. So I'd like to, I was looking on Amazon, basically just get like a kit of some sort and diamond paint some Christmas ornaments. Because if you've been with me, you know my Christmas tree is a crafty Christmas tree, not just cross stitch. I have a lot of like paper crafted, and I did like the glitter ink balls and stuff. And so it has a whole vibe of all sorts of crafts. So it'd be fun to do diamond painting, and I think it would look good on the tree. So I got to make a decision on a set and get those ordered. And so that is a focus for me in July, as well as pulling out Christmas pieces. I won't stitch just Christmas in July because I've got too many other projects that I want to stitch on. But each week I'll like to try to pull out at least a couple and get them some stitching time. So that's the kind of July. And then in August, we're looking ahead just a little bit. I was recently asked, if you remember, if you were with me last June, I did like a Zoom weekend, and there was different times Friday night through some times on Saturday and some on Sunday. So it was like 6 different time slots where we could sit and Zoom and stitch, and you came and went as you wanted, and I had each hour or section, like I focused on something, so on and so forth. But June came up too fast at this point for me, so I got to thinking, and I think what we're going to do is do a Zoom stitch weekend on the weekend of World Cross Stitch Day. So World Cross Stitch Day is August 9th. So 9th, 10th, and 11th, I think we're going to do some sort of weekend Zoom event. So if you're interested, reach out. I don't have, like any links or anything yet. Nothing's created. I have some other Flosstubers that are interested, express some interest. So what I'm really hoping would be nice is, I mean, I hosted all of it, and it was just a lot, and I couldn't always come and go and so on and so forth. So I'm hoping that we have some other hosts, and if it's other Flosstubers, they can talk about it and so on and so forth. And that may mean that there's, more people on than you might be comfortable with. But always remember, at least with me and my Zooms that I host, you do not have to say anything. If you just want to sit, stitch, and listen, you are more than welcome to. You don't even have to put on your camera if you don't feel comfortable with it. I mean, you can just kind of hang out and just feel like you have the company. If you'd like to show what you're stitching or you'd like to talk, great. But it's not something that, we're not going to put you on the spot if you don't feel comfortable. But if you just want the company. So that's coming up in August. So keep an eye out for that if you're interested. And again, it's the type of thing where you can come and go, right? I mean, you might be busy for 2 of the 3 days of the weekend, but if you pop in for one session and get a little stitching in, fantastic. So that's more to come as that gets closer and I get more info on that. But I thought I'd throw that out there. So if you don't have any plans for World Cross Stitch Day / weekend, that's what we're going to do. Alrighty, I've already told Mo that weekend's off limits. Go play pickleball all weekend. Do whatever. So that's for plans. Happy mail. I have a lovely, and I had received this last week, but I've already got a long video, but you know what? I have to thank Catherine because she was incredibly, just thoughtful and generous and lovely. And your note was so wonderful, and thank you for that. And thank you for thinking of me. And so many of these items and a lot of these things, some of them are just, they're some things that relate to what I'm stitching or what I like. And it just means a lot. I really, really appreciate it. But I did want to show you some of the things here. She knows that I do like to stitch in my car. So this is like a little one of those Ort container-y things. And then it wraps up. So how perfect, I can stick that in the bag and then I can stick it on the car. And when I throw the Orts in, and then boom, it's done. So we have that. Then we have, this is really neat. And I still haven't done my Mill Hill. And so I haven't really beaded, but she got me one of those beaded mat holdery things. And it's a magnet, so you can, you know, kind of, I use metal tins for my, because I stitch in hand. And, oh, I should have brought it for you. I'll show you another time. I've shown you this ages ago, but that's a long time ago. I decorate kind of like metal Altoid tins. And I put a needle minder in there, and I can put my scissors and stuff. But this would also, because it's magneted, I could put it in there as well. And it, you know, it's one of those where the beads kind of sticks to it, sticky mat. So that was very thoughtful. Thank you. And that gets me where I don't have excuses for beading anymore. And then a lovely needle minder with butterfly, which how perfect is that? Because I've started the butterfly piece, and I love stitching butterflies anyway. There's the one I finished that I have to scrapbook, and then there's some more I want. So that was really lovely. She sent me some flosses, some fun, just some of her favorites. So some from Variegated, and they're actually Variegated Anchor, which is really kind of cool because we don't have Anchor at my Michael's anymore. So we have some Variegated Anchor flosses. Then she sent some of the Anchor with, she said this is how she likes to keep them, with those little clips from coming apart, which is a great idea. So she sent me a few of those and a couple of blue Variegated flosses, because you know me and blue. So that was the first part of this lovely little package. And then there were some charts that she had sent that she said she had doubles of, and I can either keep them or give them away. And I keep your eye out, because they'll definitely, you know how I love to share with all of you. So Calico Crossroads, we have some adorable little cat ones. We have Tricky Treats, and we have Meowie Christmas. How adorable are those? So we have those two. Cricket Collection Autumn. Stony Creek, Not Even a Mouse. And then Crazy Valentine Cats from Kitty Me Designs. Look at those. Aren't those beautiful? So I will most definitely be sharing with all of you. So keep an eye out with that. And then she made some project bags. This one's kind of, are they called portfolios and so on and so forth? But look, it's the same butterfly fabric as the needle minder. And then we have the thread bed, and then, you know, a zipper section here, and then pockets in there. So this is gorgeous. I'm going to put something springy in this one for sure. You know what? Because the pocket might fit. I have the Emma Congdon book, and you know what? The Emma Congdon book might fit nicely in the pocket, and then I can put the actual stitch in here. I think that's what I'm going to do, and that is Difference You Make. So that would be lovely, because you have brightened my day, Catherine, and so that would be a perfect piece to put in there. And then we have birds and sunflowers. How gorgeous is that? And then I love this color red, and I love Adirondack chairs, actually. So we have a kind of a patriotic summery sort of thing. I love sitting and stitching in an Adirondack chair, especially with the thick handles and so on and so forth. It holds my iPad really nice. And then we have blues and purples and another butterfly. And this one's a little bit bigger. How beautiful is that? With roses in the center. So thank you so, so much. This was just, it touched my heart. Your note touched my heart. I'm so thrilled that you're going to stitch Dance at Nightfall with me and others. And the fact that you thought of others with the giveaways as well, with the charts to be able to, thank you so much. It was just a beautiful, beautiful gift that you have given me. So thank you. And I can't wait to share with you some of the charts and how I'm doing with like the bead thing and so on and so forth. I have one piece of shopping I'm going to show you, and that was the fabric of the month from Under the Sea Fabrics. So that would have been last month, right? I don't think it's June. Yeah, I don't think it is. This is an 18 count that I get, Aida, and it's called Pomona. So look away if you don't want to see. And I have some thoughts on what I'm going to stitch on this, but I don't know yet for sure. Isn't that beautiful? Really, really pretty. Oh, really pretty. Okay, I'm going to put it down. So that's my shopping. So again, light shopping. I have so much fun stuff that, you know, I'm really just jumping into all of that. Alrighty, and then that's it. Giveaways. Let's talk giveaways. Alrighty, so the winner for the linen, let me show you the linen. And thank you so much. So many of you kind of chimed in, and I talked about how, and most of you understood it. I wasn't saying that linen or even weave is bad. What I objected to was people saying that linen or even weave was the goal, that I had to leave Aida and I had to go to 40 count, or I had to do this or that. And I know some people mean well, and maybe they don't mean that when they say that, but that's the way it comes across. And many of you understood that. So I have the 2 pieces of linen, and here's my iPad. I was like, where's my iPad? Because I have the picture of the winner. I did the comment picker, and the winner is, where is it? Right here. Margie 6534. Congratulations, Margie. So if you could get back to me and let me know your address, I can get those out to you. I am just about ready to do a mailing. So if you've won anything physical, yes, you haven't gotten it yet. I'm coming up on enough pieces here at this point that it makes sense to do a mailing and get to the post office in this crazy summer touristy time. And then this week's giveaway, what I thought I would do is I'm passing the stash. I'm not stitching this again. This is Long May She Wave by Stitching with the Housewives. We've talked about what you can do. I mean, you could stitch just the truck if you just wanted to. You could do just the truck with the flag. I mean, you could do, heck, if you like chickens, you could do the chicken on the flower and have it a small little piece, so on and so forth. So there's a lot of little options with this, or you can stitch it as is. So I'm going to ask you to say the word wave, W-A-V-E, for this Long May She Wave chart, and I am going to pass the stash. Now, it's, let me just see, it's got, I mean, for the most part, it's been loved and used in that sense. A little bit bent along the edges a little bit, but for the most part in pretty good shape. But it was a piece that I did use, so I'm passing the stash on this one, just to give you a heads up on that. If that is something that you don't like, just so you know. And in fact, I'm going to put it in the plastic now so it will stay safe from here. The plastic's a little bent. It was 4 years worth of projects, but if you say the word wave, then I'll put your name in and I'll pick a winner next time. Alrighty, that's that. All right, that's the stitching stuff. So if that's all you're here for, whew, thank you, and I will see you next time. Life stuff, I talked about our Friday night. We did that last weekend, and then Saturday was kind of like a summer kickoff party at our in our neighborhood. We have the clubhouse and so on and so forth, and they brought in a food truck, but generally there wasn't much I could eat there. So we made some food, brought it with us, which was kind of fun. They had an ice cream truck there, which does have vegan ice cream, so I was able to have a little bit of ice cream treat, and they had a band and playing music and so on and so forth. So it was fun. We hung out for a few hours doing that. And then Sunday we did our little beach and bowls Sunday, which was really nice. And this weekend, I think for Father's Day weekend, I said to Mo, what do you want? He's like, yeah, I'm fine. What do you want to do? I mean, the kids, Megan's not going to have a car. She can't get here. And then Connor is 7 hours away. It really wouldn't be worth it. That's 7 hours without summer traffic, right? So it's just going to be the 2 of us this weekend. And so I think on Sunday morning, we're going to get up bright and early. And again, we're going to do our bowls and bring them to the beach and just enjoy a little bit. It's supposed to be a beautiful weekend this weekend. So I think Mo might go volunteer at the dogs tomorrow and just play with some dogs. So that'll be fun for him this weekend. So, light plans, nothing humongous or whatever. We're just kind of chugging along, enjoying the summer. I have been, and I need to go back to last June's videos. I swear the no-see-ums love me. I have gotten bit again. It's a June thing, I think, because I think it was last June as well. And Mo has bites all over him and he doesn't feel them. I have 3 bites and they're itching like you would not believe. Like, I'm going crazy with it. And I know a bunch of you had given suggestions last year, and I think I made notes, so I got to look at that, or I have to go back and find the comments again, because I'm a little bit salty at the moment in the sense of by nighttime especially they get very itchy, and I think there is some reason why bug bites itch more at night. I just don't remember, and so I'm a little cranky because I'm desperately trying not to scratch, and I've been really good, but it's like this low grade itch all the time, and then at night it's just like this giant itch. So I've been dealing with that. And just like, I'm just gonna, and you know, I don't think the candles really get rid of them. I'm just gonna, like, everywhere I walk, I'm just gonna spray in front of me or something or other, because they just love me, or my body just doesn't love their bites, I guess is a better way of putting it. So I've been a little bit struggling this week, and Mo will tell you I'm a little cranky at night. I'm not gonna lie. But you know, oh well. I think the ones that have really given me trouble are on it usually is about a week of, like, I found, of really crazy itching, and I'm at the point with these that have been bothering me where I'm at the end of the week. So I'm hoping that's a good thing, and I'm hoping I don't get any more. Let's just put it that way. So, you know, hey, these things happen. Other than, I'm still going to enjoy the outside and enjoy the beautiful weather, especially because I like morning and night. Come say 1 o'clock in the afternoon when the sun is beating down, you will not find me at the beach. You'll find me inside, away from the sun. Or if I was at the beach, I'd be sunscreened under an umbrella with towels covering me. I am one of those. I do that. When we were kids, my mom would do that. I'd be like, "What are you doing, Mom?" Because my mom never tanned. She would have regular, or she'd burn, and that would it. So she would always cover herself and cover her legs, and I would feel like, oh, you know, as a kid, you roll your eyes and, what are you doing? Now, what do? Even with the umbrella, I still usually put a towel over my legs and cover them. So, you know, it's come full circle. So I'm enjoying the kind of the bookend of the days, and kind of hunkering in. I think the warm weather is supposed to come a little bit, but you know, it's summer. I'll take it. I love it much more than the cold. So that's it. That's all I have. So I hope this weekend, again, it's a weekend that can be incredibly joyous or incredibly difficult. And I totally get that. I have the gamut of emotions when it comes to Father's Day. I'm not going to lie about that. So I get you. I feel you on that. So I am hoping that the weekend can be as best as it can, whether it's happy, whether it's sad, whether it's contentious, or whatever it happens to be. I'm thinking about you and hoping for the best with you. Because sometimes it's just, family is hard, right? So we can love and still have issues. So I'm thinking about you. I hope you're well. I hope you're safe. I hope the weekend just gives you what you need. And yeah, that's really how I can leave that with that. Maybe you get some stitching in. I hope you got some stitching while you were watching me. And remember that you matter. You are super important, and take time to do something that you enjoy, because you are important. All right, until next time, happy stitching.